on, Sarah.
Hey guys, my name is Alex. Many of you know that I do a lot of boat reviews, and I always spend about a month in each one. That kind of bothers people because it takes longer than they want to see them, and I do less than some other people who do reviews, but I want to make sure I get it right the first time. So this is sort of my mea culpa. Long time ago, I had access to a Zet Cross for one weekend. I paddled it for one weekend, and I did initial review. And it's kind of been nagging me ever since because I've been paddling across for a season and a half now, on and off, and I got a lot of stuff wrong because I just didn't have the time to get to know the boat. So let me start over. The Cross is made by Zet. It was a second bite at the apple, but really a different design to their success with the Five. The Five is much closer to kind of how a 9R paddles without the hard chines. The Cross is very, very similar, but also kind of closer to how a Phantom paddles. That would be the boat that, if you've never seen a Zet boat or paddled one, this is what it's going to remind you of, and vice versa. The difference, though, is that the Cross has a narrower platform, looser chines, and less rocker. So what does that mean? It's very nimble, it's very fast, definitely faster than a Phantom in my opinion, and it is really looking for you to steer from the waist. Yes, one of the things we do a lot more now with these heavily chined kick rockery boats is we steer a lot from the knees. What's kind of been lost along the way is steering from the hips and using them in combination with your knees. That is really where the Cross excels. It's looking for you to be kind of fully engaged, pulling up with your knees, going into turns, all of those little things. So what does that mean? It means this is a lot of boat in a little package. Yes, this is a little bit smaller than what you would consider a large. It's kind of a medium-large style boat, and it rips. It is fully race compliant at 9 feet, and it is super fast for that class. It's also very light, and like all Zet boats, notably durable. So the high performance aspects of the Cross really did match what they had in the Five, and this boat rips. I have been loving it on everything from big water, micro creeking, all the way through. A lot of my friends who were completely hooked on the original 9R have similarly gotten hooked on this. For the big water, it really sets a line and drives really hard. For people who liked it for creeking, it performs very similarly in terms of that speedy, drivey, high performance feeling that they got hooked on. What I like even more, though, is that the soft chines really open up this boat's potential to be a full all-arounder for micro creeking and things where I'm going to bash the edges, which is really where I felt that both the 9R and the Phantom kind of lost something in this race boat performance class. And again, a lot of this comes back to the stern. So one of the things that you will find in this boat is like the 9R2, maybe the Scorch, where you have this stern that really sets you down and scoots you out coming out of drops. The Cross is trying to do the same thing. It's trying to stay relatively flat on its rocker profile to make the water line longer and really accelerate out of everything. What that can mean is that if you're landing boofs kind of traditionally like I was when I first paddled this, it can land like a sack of bricks because you're going to land dead flat. Or if you're paddling something on the very shallow side, it can be really hard to get your bow up because your stern's in the way with all that rocker. So my adaptation has definitely been to paddle this with the seat. significantly far back or all the way back, depending on the situation. And I stomp my boofs really hard in this boat. That seems to be what they had in mind, because when you stomp the boofs, the cross really jumps back up, reacts super nicely, and goes launching away from the bottom of drops. So that has been the real secret to me falling in love with this boat. So beyond the raw performance, why have I been choosing this thing again and again? It just comes down to the way it paddles. This is a super nimble, super playful design that really makes me feel like I'm zooming around a slalom course when I'm just out creeking. So in situations where other people were kind of wigging out because we were dodging trees or doing something silly, or eddy catches were kind of squirrely and tight, I was actually kind of playing chicken with stuff and having that little extra bit of fun. And I find that that technicality makes me a better boater. So I have really fallen in love with this kind of concept that Zet has going on. The outfitting is the same classic Zet seat that they've always made. I made an overview video. I'll put a link up here. It is super bomber. They found a way to make these boats very light, but also super robust. So they tend to last for a really long time, but you're not lugging around 50, 60 pounds of plastic either, which means they perform even better. A light boat is a higher performing boat because you can throw it around just like any other piece of sporting equipment. And that really, really adds something to just the experience of paddling them. So in combination with this thin but durable hull, the Zet outfitting is pretty unique. It is a roto-molded diamond-shaped superstructure with an expanding foam seat put inside. One of my favorite tricks has become lowering the seats in these boats. That makes them from kind of hyper-aggressive slalom style to more of a traditional creeker, the way that we're used to seeing them. In addition to kind of changing the ergonomics so you can get your knees up higher and be a little less straight-legged, it also definitely increases your primary and secondary stability and is much closer to what you're used to with the kind of American market of Dagger, Jackson, and Pyranha. You know, currently a lot of people are buying boats in the same way that they buy food. They're using their eyes first. What you'll find with the Cross is kind of a no frills environment. This boat works beautifully, kind of without the pomp and circumstance or the flashiness. Even though you might not see really hard rails and chines, it doesn't mean this boat doesn't carve and grab beautifully. Just because there isn't a ton of rocker on both ends doesn't mean this boat can't go up and over pretty much everything. It is definitely better for that 180 to 215 pound paddler. If you're lighter, the 5 is honestly even better than the Cross, and I would really recommend checking that out. But the Cross itself has been absolutely fantastic. It is my main workhorse of a boat, and I think it's gonna stay that way. It's a super reliable pick. It crushes big water. It's amazing micro creeking. It's fun river running, and it just puts a smile on my face, which is really the most important thing to me right now. It may be its slalom background, but the Cross really does, more so than other boats, reward paddlers for paddling properly. Meaning, it wants you to have an engaged core and be using it. It wants you to be pivoting at your hips. It wants you to be knee steering on top of it. It wants a full body carve and accelerate through turns. And that makes it absolutely light up. Does that mean that you have to? No, you can definitely slug it through. I've seen a couple of beginners rocking this boat and learn all of these lessons along the way. It's definitely doable, but when you give it the beans, holy cow. And I think that's part of what I just enjoy so much about the sensation that I get paddling this boat. I can both rely on it to get me through the mank and to take care of me when I need it to, but then also when I want to do something silly and challenge myself, it's just there to deliver. So it has become one of my absolute favorites. It's pretty much the only creek boat I take out unless I'm testing something. When I go back and I jump into a Phantom or something like that, they're definitely doing more to just take care of me, but I can feel that they're leaving something on the table by comparison to the Cross. So are you getting a lot of gimmies? No, but the just sensation of paddling is somehow richer in this boat. I think, again, a lot of that comes down to this long stern. You could really make an argument that there could be more rocker, that you could do this, that, and the other thing to make it higher performance and to make it kind of more of a gimme, but that would kind of take away from my enjoyment factor and make it bland. It's really fun to paddle something where I have all of the capabilities of a Machno, an OG, a Code, something like that, but I'm not kind of wrapped in bubble wrap, and I really like the kind of raw experience that I get and the ability to just push myself in something that just keeps rewarding me. Ultimately, it's going to come down to the individual paddler, but the Cross is easily one of the faster in the 9-foot creek boat racer category. So if you're looking for a quiver killer creek boat, something that you can race in, something that you can take in big water, something that you can go micro creeking in, this is a great one. I love this thing on things I don't get to run very often because I can trust it, but then it just makes my backyard laps on the Moose every weekend super enjoyable too. So try out the Cross. I certainly wish I had spent more time in it years ago. Come on, snow. Whew. Why am I filming outside?